meet in the first time you meet your beloved, it is in the end.
Yeah, and it's like I really like that type of trope, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. Like the whole like I get really like emotional about like just recently if you've ever watched Once Upon a Time, I'm a really big like fan of Rumpelstiltskin and Belle because of Beauty and the Beast.
Hmm.
And it was really sad to kind of see that he's immortal and she dies and sorry spoilers, she dies of old age and he's just immortal like himself. And everyone at the beginning, if anyone had any arguments over whether or not they were together, a lot of people like fan wise were saying, well, she's so much younger than him. Well, technically now she's so much older looking than him, but it doesn't really like it's invalid in my opinion whenever it comes to immortality, because either way you're gonna be older.
It's like the argument has died. Kind of reminded me of a thing from Warehouse 13. Have you
Oh
seen
yeah,
that show?
yeah, yeah, I love Warehouse 13. That was such a good
Yeah.
show. Everyone likes
Again.
what's her name? Oh, um she's supposed to be a guy. It's a writer. It's I'm blanking so
His
hard.
picture didn't end.
Yeah,
Right?
Warehouse 13 was really good. I really liked Artie. I thought he was fantastic. Um,
Though the I forgot the actor for Artie. The actor for Artie did show up in Person of Interest though.
yeah.
If you,
I haven't watched Person of Interest in a long time. I think since like season 1.
oh, you don't know. So okay, so but you do know the machine the thing. So when you have a super, when you have something like that, you're like, okay, what can compete with the machine that sees everything and can basically predict and tell a future based on all sorts of facts and whatnot. So it's like, okay, so how do you compete against that? How do you get an evil thing to compete against a AI? You get a evil AI.
An evil
And,
AI.
and already basically made one.
Ah.
His version. Because
If you think about it, evil is like I don't know, like a lot of like a good person can think evil is something else than what a bad person sees evil as.
well, we're talking about in the generic trope version for like TV and whatnot. Like we're talking about on like the perspective of TV, or like in as us viewers, but what producers want us to think of the generic good versus evil,
Okay.
scenario, right? We're talking about that type of thing where like it's like okay, these are the main characters, these are antagonists, whatever, like that generic type of thought,
Okay.
right?
So obviously, if it's evil, it has a British accent, right? No, I'm joking. You're like
everyone has a
everyone's evil.
exactly. That's what they want us to think in America. Just look at the history book.
I know. Uh, there was oh my gosh. Okay, so you know those morning talk shows, like like Kiss FM or whatever. They have like
sure.
Elvis Duran in the morning show. There was this guy on it, like this host guy, that one of the other women that work with him, her husband is from the UK, and he called her one day and asked if he could talk to her husband on the phone. He asked if they celebrate the 4th of July in the UK. I was just
How do you not know that? But it's like the whole point of 4th of July is the independence of America. Is British America? No. That's what they want you to think, yeah.
I was just like, whenever I heard that he said that, I was just like, they wonder why they think Americans are stupid. But then I look at it and I'm like, maybe in the UK they ask if we celebrate the 5th of November or something. What if there's someone like that?
What's the 5th of November? Or you just made it be.
What, you don't know what it is?
Oh, no, is that actually a thing?
Yeah, the 5th of November. Oh. It's I think it's Ash something, maybe no. It's something about Parliament and bombings. The gun plot revolt, that's what it is. I think.
Blames British people for being too fancy.
What?
That's the culprit. They're fancy.
What's November
November 5th is the 309th day of this year of the...
No, why is it?
British?
Remember the 5th of November. There we go. Gunpowder, treason, and plot. That's what it is. The original Guy Fawkes was one of the men who took part in the Gunpowder Plot, a conspiracy for blowing up King James I and the House of Parliament on November 5th, 1605.
Of course you do, Tommy. Of course you do. You're fancy over there in that New Zealand. in that little place on the earth that we forget about.
I think it would be really cool is if a thing to add with housing is, you know how KI can control cameras? If you could control cameras in your house.
I would like it if we had the ability to control cameras for the sake of screenshots.
Drones. Have a crafting drone.
You gotta get a drone permit and you just bug all your friends. They
see a robot hawk just flying and they're like, who's spying on me?
Piggle. No, the piggle is the drone.
Oh, you want a piggle? I want it to be a hoggle. Have you seen the hoggles?
No, it would be a goblin. Or a gobbler.
The hoggle in Pirate 101 is so adorable. Hold up.
I don't believe.
You don't believe me?
No, I don't believe I remember.
Oh, okay. That's what it looks like.
Oh, that thing. Sure.
It's a scruffy piggle. You saw. Oh, I get what you were saying earlier now. Yes. Someone responded. Okay, so like this Darkmoor house, I used to have it. This entire thing was a maze. And now I don't believe I have enough castle blocks to make it the same size of maze it was.
Oh, darn.
I might be able to. It takes time. It really does.
That's a pretty big flat area.
It's a huge area for a maze. It'll be amazing. Oh.
Beauty. The joke is too good. Cap it now.
It's a terrible joke. How long has Mike been muted for?
He died. By sleeping.
Oh, why did he leave his computer
I don't
on?
know. Maybe he's not sleeping. Maybe he wants us to think he's sleeping.
Yeah, he's actually like he's the true source of evil in the spiral.
He's planning a coup.
Oh.
Where he's gonna go ahead and take all of the memories of all of us, including Tom.
Oh.
So
he's not gonna like those memories.
Hey, he can select. He can have it where he selectively trims them on and off and puts them in a file. We're talking about where
he might see Tom crying a lot as he writes down the monthly newsletters.
Oh really?
He hates the monthly newsletters.
Like, does he hate it because it's repetitive, or
he hates it because he has to write them for a lot of different games, and they all have to be really long.
What do you mean, a lot of different games?
Wizard 101, Pirate 101, Everclicker? I think they have a monthly newsletter. Not ever. The mobile games I know have one. He has to then, like, at the end of the month, he has to do like
mobile games they have, the more fun Tom's gonna have.
Like I said, he cries.
I see.
You gotta cry every once in a while.
Well, hey, that's why he's a community manager. He can survive this problem of over typing.
Well, like, there's also, like, whenever you think of the newsletters, what do you think goes into them besides update notes?
Well, research.
Yeah. He has a crap ton of it to do.
Research, figuring out what makes sense, what's, and making sure that nothing that is said there is going to be a liability. Thinks about it, make sure it's good. checks in probably with
He goes
the legal
into
team
he goes
as well at
a
the end of it.
ton of Central surfing. He's on Central all the time.
Now the question is, does he go on Central more than the message boards?
He goes on message boards daily, I believe, as well. I think that's part of his job, I would think.
Well, yeah, I mean, the message boards are their own forms, but their own forms are a little limiting.
Yeah.
That's why Central exists. The Central has grown to be a weird type of thing now.
Yeah. Well, isn't like Jester just kind of like, I don't know.
I think Jester is mostly just kind of MIA.
Yeah.
Or that may be another guy.
Well, I know I know that he's
They're a little
not super
strict over
active.
Well, their rules are old school. Like they're like 2008 rules. Like.
Yeah.
Because, have you ever read the rules or seen some of the stuff that they make you do?
Not 100%. I know for a fact that I can't change my username because I didn't know I had a Central account. Thank you, Princess Belle, for following. I know I had I know I have an account. I knew I had one. I just didn't know which email it was set up to. And then I went to try to make one. It was like, sorry, you can't do that. And then I asked why. And then they're like, oh, you already have one. It's for this account. And I'm like, oh, okay, now I remember.
It's like, I don't want that user. Too bad.
Yeah, you have to, get something to change it. You have to...
The form gold.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The form gold always felt like a meme to me. And also, a lot of people on there have grown to be toxic as well. It's one of the other issues that I've read and seen and talked about by other people.
Yeah.
And part of the other issues is we have some people who are a bit vocal in ways that may confuse other people.
Yeah.
Like the people who don't really okay, so let's just say well, before we go into this, what's your thoughts on the Mirage nerf?
Mirage?
Yeah,
Mirage
was nerfed.
Yeah, I heard that from a lot of okay, so basically I'll just say, okay, Tom basically said that Mirage had a 50-50 rating on difficulty. 50% said it was too hard, 50% said that it was just right. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the closest that they've ever come to that statistic or something like that.
Was it most of the time it was people said it was let's just say 80 was fine and then 20 was they weren't fine, that type of thing, where it was more of a minority being salty.
Yeah.
Using simplistic ways of describing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so and they chose to nerf it because it was 50.
I guess, but you had a chance to go and play it while it was full difficulty. Sure. My own I kind of wish that there was difficulty ratings that you could choose.
Yeah, and I know Sword Drill had his own article on that too, and maybe Vanessa had something, but maybe not. I don't know. I know at least Sword Drill did. But my issue is they nerfed it too hard, right?
Yeah.
Because it basically became, it felt like Avalon.
Avalon's not particularly hard. I feel for the level that my wizard
of health values, no, there's some good cheats and stuff, but the issue is they made it where it is easier than Azteca and Chrysalis, which I don't like a lot, because here's the thing: if you can survive the difficulty of those two worlds, which are the hardest worlds in the game, then how does that make it where you go from that difficulty to, let's just say, Avalon, for example, because that's what most of the bosses are in terms of, if you were to associate health in mobs and bosses in the majority of the cases, right?
Okay.
They may have harder cheats, but the thing is, you have better gear. Most people. Well,